welcome back. Okay, so the next question is going to be a bit harsh or upfront, and let's go about it. So, what's fake about your industry, or what's fake about what is it in this specific niche that SanaRide is working on?
What is fake? Well, I would say the belief that people actually have the ability to reserve a ride. The NEMT industry doesn't work with residential people. It only works with hospitals and brokers. So the NEMT industry doesn't have the ability to take a credit card or take payment, it's a crime. So the idea of fake is simply this, that it's put out there that people that are in wheelchairs can go to the movies. They remove seats in a movie theater. However, you never see anybody in the theater in a wheelchair. When was the last time you went out for dinner in a restaurant and saw someone in a wheelchair? You don't see anybody in a wheelchair. I'm a contractor, and if I build a restaurant, I have to make it ADA accessible, meaning people in a wheelchair have to be able to, there's certain pitches and levels. They have to be able to access the movie theater, access the restaurant. But what's fake is that illusion. There is no way for these people to access the restaurant or access a hospital or a movie theater. That's exactly what is fake in this industry.
Yeah, and the irony is, a lot of these elected individuals from both sides, they campaign on medical. Medical is one of the major industries while they're doing the campaigns, and they secure a lot of funding. I mean, yes, there's funding for medical, and there's funding for all sorts of things, but you never just have seen that money being spent on something that these people could actually work with. You never saw innovations in this particular area. Anyways, moving on. Say it straight. Who is SanaRide not for?
SanaRide is not for people that don't need mobility access. This is not going to be an Uber app where you can just call up SanaRide and get a ride in one of our wheelchair vans. This is something that's going to be exclusively for people that have mobility challenges, so that we can help those people get to the restaurants, hospitals, hair appointments, doctor's appointments, physical therapy appointments. These are all the things that our SanaRide is going to focus on.
Perfect. Now, David, let's talk about you. Let's put the focus on who David is, what's his goal, and what took him to start SanaRide. So can you just share some light on your background and what is the strongest part, or what is the strongest piece of experience that you bring into SanaRide?
I think I've been in the building industry for 20 years. It's probably one of the hardest industries to be successful in, and it's very competitive. Pricing is competitive, but along with being competitive pricing, the market turns is like a roller coaster. Interest rates go up, housing goes down. There's a bump in the market, the stock market, housing goes down. So there's many financial fluctuations in the building industry. So that is probably one of the hardest things that I learned. And then you're managing millions and millions of dollars that can evaporate in seconds when the economy drops like it did in 2008. But what they say, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. So I lived through 2008, and then again in COVID. It was taking a year and a half to get windows. I built houses in 6 months, so you just couldn't even build. It was unbelievable. I think the thing that defines me, and I learned it in the building industry, is there is nothing that can't be fixed. I always told my staff, if you have a problem, come to me with 2 solutions, and I'll pick which solution. I'm not going to hold my staff accountable, because that's my job as an owner to make the decisions, the hard decisions. But the people that work for me had to think. They had to use their brain and say, okay, here's our problem. What is the solution to the problem? And I think that it doesn't matter what you're up against. there's always a solution there that can be met or made to make changes so that whatever company you're building is successful.
Perfect. 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 And that's a very strong background, I would say. And I've known you for how many, let's just say, months, and I've always found you a man with a plan. Like this is my impression of David. That this guy knows what he's doing and what he's about to do, and what would it take, let's just say, to do whatever he's planned for. Moving on to our, let's just say, last few questions about SanaRide. What do you think, and where exactly do you see SanaRide in 1 year, and then in 5 years, and what it would take you or SanaRide in general to go to that, let's just say, milestone, or to achieve that?
To what was okay. So the first year, my focus is going to be on launching this app and having it run flawlessly. I think the biggest mistake is that you could rush into something, even though you have a great idea. It's everybody wants to rush in and make it successful immediately. I am putting geofencing in our area so that we'll start very small, and we'll work with some specific 1 or 2 retirement facilities or assisted living facilities, and we're going to work with them until we have a good, strong team that I know when the app is used, that there is going to be somebody that will be available to pick that person up, take them to where they need to go, and then they will be there to pick them back up and take them home when they're done. That's going to be the main goal for the first year, and getting to make sure that we have a great staff, marketing, digital marketing, presence on social media. Those are all things that are going to be put in place the first year. By year 5, I want to be out of the state of Florida, and SanaRide is already trademarked, so we can go nationwide. So I want to take it out of the state of Florida and start moving into other states, major metropolitan cities, and we'll grow organically from there.
Perfect. Okay, so let's talk something about for the money people. Can you just, let's just say, give us a rundown about the business model and how would SanaRide make money, and where exactly do you guys plan to spend that money on?
I think most important is that I'm very thankful and grateful for Uber, because they really spawned the digital app where people can see that transportation is something that we use every day. Before Uber, there was no apps. There was nothing out there, anything like it. So they had to spend the money and time for people to learn. Growing up, we called a taxi. I mean, that was just it. That was the only option. And they certainly weren't delivering your food either. So that's going to be one of the things that I think was a big stepping stone for SanaRide. And then moving forward, keeping our goals set so that we will grow organically and move throughout the country in a controlled atmosphere. So as far as money goes, our main income is on will be a membership basis for some people that need travel. Maybe they work, so that they're going to need a ride Monday through Friday. So we'll have a membership. We'll also obviously do just regular rides for somebody who needs a ride to go to the movie theater. And in that will be a booking fee. So, and then there's other monetary things. Let's say the Orlando airport. Someone flies to go to Disney World. There's going to be tourism that just because you make it from the airport to your hotel, how do you get to the Magic Kingdom? How do you go to Disney Springs after that? How do you go to dinner with your family? So we're going to make that available, and that will be another part of SanaRide that is a profit center. Now, the other thing that we will also be doing is we'll be working with insurance companies so that we can provide rides for insurance holders, meaning if you have health insurance, there are 3 to 5 free rides a month that you get as a health insurance holder. People are unable to use those rides because the NEMT industry is unable to pick them up and take them around. So SanaRide is going to fill that gap in that niche to be able to let those rides be taken, and then we'll bill the insurance industry directly for those rides. So there's many facets of profit centers that are going to roll out with SanaRide.
Perfect. And for all parties involved, it's going to be a win-win situation, considering partnerships with, as you have suggested, or collaborations with, as you have suggested, with insurance company, hospitals, and medical services provider institutes, right? Okay, so moving on, can you quickly and briefly explain what is NEMT industry and what is SanaRide and what exactly SanaRide does and who's their target, what to say, or customers? I don't know, what do you guys call them? Clients, customers, associates, guests? Perfect.
Yes, they're guests. They're guests to SanaRide. Yes.
Perfect.
What our main goal is going to be is we're taking people that are in home and being able to take them to personal appointments. That's one facet. You're going to have direct insurance industry where people are leaving hospitals to go to home. And then you'll have the tourist industry where people are traveling and they're going to need transportation to go to and from in the tourism industry. Those are the kind of different things that SanaRide will provide transportation to. Also, with retirement facilities, assisted living facilities, we'll be able to take people to the mall. They do trips. I'll call them a field trip, if you will. They take 10 or 12 people. Well, our vans, many of these vans will take 2 wheelchairs and can hold 10 people as well. So we'll be able to take these field trips and take, instead of just mobile people to the mall, we'll be able to take 2 guests that are in a wheelchair as well as 10 other guests to the mall. So they'll be going in groups with their friends. The last thing that somebody who's in a wheelchair in an assisted living facility is to want to be left behind. While all their friends go to the mall to go shopping, if they can't get into the van, which they can't, they're being left behind. So those are some of the things that we'll do, that we'll be able to facilitate those rides to different areas, trips, and different things like that.
Okay, so if I have to summarize this, it's going to be an Uber for people who need assistance or people with special abilities, right?
With mobility challenged, I never use the word disability or disabled, because I think that people, just because you're in a wheelchair, everybody has a talent. They just need to find that talent. And so we just call them mobility challenged. It could be many different things, that maybe somebody lost an arm that was amputated, or lost a leg, or has any kind of a disability. So our app is going to be the app that can forge those relationships with those people and be able to take them and move them about in a natural way in their lives.
Perfect. That's beautiful. Okay, so last question. Let's talk about coverage. Where exactly are you starting this on? And what are the areas that you guys plan to cover in the first year? And what is your expansion plan like coverage-wise?
As far as community-wise, how large an area we're going to cover. Right in the beginning, for the first 6 months, as we were talking earlier, definitely the Orlando marketplace. Because of Disney World, we have hundreds of thousands of people that come to Disney World every year. So not only do we have the residential side, we also have the medical side, and then we also have this monster in the room, which is Disney World. So in Orlando, we have a large space to grow and work out any kind of problems, growth problems, so that as we deploy into other cities, let's say we go from Orlando to Tampa, then to Miami, we'll have a good system. I'll have a rollout team that will go into that city and we'll roll it out into the NEMT. Before we even get there, we'll have relationships with the NEMT providers that are in that area. Non-emergency medical transportation is a nationwide product. It is in every single city that there's a hospital. because every single city has people that are going to the hospital, but when they leave, they're not leaving in an ambulance. So because an ambulance may cost $3,000 to $5,000. So what's happened is now the NEMT industry was evolved, and they're taking those folks from the hospital to their homes. They maybe have a cast on their leg, any number of things. So just not mobile. Maybe they're elderly and they just need a little help and they're in a wheelchair. So the NEMT industry, non-emergency medical transportation, is exactly what that says. It's non-emergency. So we pick people up that are not in need of health, immediate health services, and we provide them transportation to wherever they're going.
Perfect.